a sacrifice seduced for the altar of your vanity. A jealous, hungry God craving praises of profanity. With bedroom dark and dine, and a deep mouth stained with wine, it drinks its fill. It was your mothers, not your brothers, that agreed to feed you poison. This egregious lack of choice indeed seemed fit to join your voice in, with lies disguised as prizes of reason and wisdom, with briberies of finery to weaken any criticism. Can the fly invade the blossom that devours it? A mouth that lies in wait for a gift of life to shower it.
Okay, well, welcome back, guys. We're on session 103, not counting, of course, Halloween session. Of course, we're back in Rome. It has been a few days since the last official session here. You were trying to find the group of children that broke out of the cult, and honestly, it's like looking for a needle in a wagon of needles. There's orphans of all ages, sizes. They all infest the streets. Albina, you've been on edge. Not so much just for what the kids did, but your anger at the situation. The fact that you were robbed of money. The cult was robbed of money. And in particular, you are missing a very special ring to you. It was taken directly off your hand. So the cult has been walking on eggshells around you. Your rage has pushed you to almost visible level of chill. It's as close as you can get to unleashing your beast on somebody without actually doing it. Tonight, until the fate of your ring is determined or you've made some sort of substantial progress on it, whether that be giving it up or you find it, all your self-control rolls are at +2 difficulty. You essentially feel the rage of the Bruja. The cult has been walking on eggshells around you. Just they do not want to provoke you for anything. But they have come to you with good news. They had to put a down payment on it, basically. But they found a vendor in the Forum Vanalia that has several rings that are close matches to the one that was taken from you. And they also found a second possibility in the Trastevere. Among all the refugee camps, there's a lot of people that are selling heirlooms, and there's a lot of rings and stuff that are being passed around, making their way into the streets of Rome.
She's going to proceed to mention this to the rest of the coterie, to Labiana and to Astartes.
As you guys are talking about this, discussing your strategy, a child comes running up to Labiana. You hear him, bouncing up the steps, down the steps, over to you guys. Tugs at Labiana's sleeve. Says, "Mistress, Malatus is going to give birth. She needs you." The kid's obviously full of excitement. "Hey, somebody's giving birth. Something's happening." So
Labiana's going to turn to the others and say, "Well, duty calls."
All right, they lead you upstairs to the second floor. There's a bunch of cult members that have blankets and stuff on the floor. I'm trying to make the woman comfortable. She's screaming in labor pains. Ah! Sweat's pouring off her face. What do you do?
Well, okay. Haven't really had, out of character, haven't really had much of a chance to think about exactly.
Well, good, because Labiana hasn't delivered many babies.
um, well, basically, the only thing she can do is, presuming she would have seen and remembered anything that Hatshepsut possibly would have done in this situation. So I feel like at this
Alright.
point she's going to try and draw from any of that.
Okay. I'd like you to roll your intelligence plus your medicine. This is extended roll. You need 5 total successes at difficulty 6.
My character sheet.
And let me know, what is your medicine rating? 2, I think?
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
At 2 at the moment.
Good.
Let me check. Yeah.
Alright, cool. Because
So
she's going to make
intelligence.
the lady's going to make a stamina and your medicine roll. To hopefully she survives the labor. Now this roll represents you mixing up herbs to dull the pain, guiding the baby out correctly, keeping her from tearing herself apart, all that kind of stuff, everything that would be involved in delivering the child.
I'd also imagine, given her sort of lack of humanity in that respect, and knowing that the poor woman was going to need some form of comfort, as it were, she probably would have appointed one of the other cult members as a sort of assistant midwife, as it were, to sort of do the
Okay.
hold handing.
Well, which one? You have 2 at your disposal. Although Sardis isn't technically part of the cult, but
I'll figure she would have got one of the mortal cult members to do it.
okay, yeah. So, yeah, they're all kind of gathered around her. The bunch of the women, trying to help her through it.
What was the difficulty for the roll?
6. Yeah, you need 5 total successes. So you'll roll until you botch, or until you make it.
6, you said, yeah?
Correct. Yes.
Yep.
Standard
Okay.
difficulty.
Here we go.
Oh, very nice. The first hour passes. You are guiding her correctly through the process of birth. You've administered all the medications that you can administer. Things are going very well.
Okay.
Excellent. All right. It takes about 2 hours for the lady to finally fully give birth. You bring a crying a crying girl into the world. It's a girl child. And now she gets to roll her stamina and your medicine. Ooh, that's not good. Make a wits and medicine roll to stabilize her. She's not doing well.
It's in medicine. Okay.
Yeah, so she's bleeding excessively. So you need to stabilize her.
Okay. Oh dear.
Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, you pull the child out, and you turn to look, and you see she's beginning to bleed heavier. It's not slowing down like the other births that you've seen. And your road compulsion takes over. Your road and your clan compulsion. And you can do nothing but sit there and take her pulse and watch and the whole group is like begging you to do something. As you watch her bleed out to death. And a good question is to ask is Albana in the room? Is she there?
I imagine so. Should have accompanied the birth, the delivery of the baby.
Okay. I need a self-control roll from you.
Uh-oh.
As the beast sees this beautiful, pure, innocent, fresh girl child, and it starts immediately clawing at you to put it out of its misery. Right now. Right now, put it out of its misery.
The difficulty.
Well, it was going to be, I think, 6. I got to check your flaw. You got to check this. Yeah, it's going to be 8. You restrain yourself. Like, you can feel the bloodlust and the rage rise up against this pure, innocent, fresh soul. What do you do to suppress the rage, which you do successfully suppress?
I think that she turns the rage away from the hunger and towards the other cult members. She's going to be turning to them and letting the shadows grow around her, making her more intimidated as she nearly snarls at them. You, you, you have all failed to provide proper faithfulness to the goddesses. Look at the consequences of your behaviors. The words of treachery that had been infesting the minds of you and your sisters had led to the death of this woman. None of you should have ever doubted the power of the goddess, nor her decision to make us her messengers.
Make a charisma and intimidation roll and apply all of your merits. So this is going to be difficulty 3, I think. 2? Yeah, 3. Yeah, 3. I think 3 is the lowest you can go. All right. I'm gonna add an auto success from your rage and all the stuff, and as a group, most of them cower before you, begging forgiveness, clutching at your feet. Some of them who can't reach you just cry. The child is whisked away before it can be. The emotions of the scene can make it, feel bad or contaminate it. Yeah, they feel fucking horrible.
Labian, of course, is just standing there, emotionless as usual.
As she Albina watches the child being whisked away and all the cult members begging at her feet for the forgiveness of the goddess, she's just going to be stepping aside and looking over to Labiana. I believe you now have a task to arrange the funerary rites of this woman.
Labian will likewise turn to Albina and nod. I believe I do.
Would you require assistance in this?
Of course, I appreciate any assistance from you, Albina.
You are the messenger of death. I refer to your expertise on this matter, but to provide whatever you are able to provide.
I shall do whatever is necessary to facilitate this. Yeah, so unless she had something else, Labian will probably immediately begin preparations for
Yep.
said funeral.
Yep. The cult's got enough money left in your group treasury. They had to put down some money to hold the rings so the thieves don't sell it right off. And so the big question is, what are you going to do with the body?
I was just thinking that actually, because knowing Labiena, she would be in a good position to, learn whatever she can, in terms of you know, what exactly it was that, you know, caused her to die.
You going to
You
bring
know,
it to
the
your mentor
intricacies.
for study?
She'd definitely want to, of course, and do it in such a way. Like, here's the thing: she would want to, be able to bring the body to her mentor so that she and her mentor can study it. But at the same time, just trying to think of how they did things back then.
What they did was they would usually send the body to get cremated. Or if you were too poor, they would just throw it in the river. And then they would hire professional mourners and stuff, and the body to dance essentially a little mini parade through the streets. And they actually hired professionals who would cry and weep and tear at their clothes, and so it was like a big party with crying.
Yeah. Oh, I was just mainly thinking about the body scenario. So
Yep. Yeah, normally they
don't
take
know
it
if
to a
they'd have
place
their
to
own
be cremated, if they could.
crematorium. Yeah.
Yeah, it was not unusual to walk across abandoned bodies in the street, or bodies dumped down the Great Drain, or just dumped in the river. So, but the proper way to do it would be to have it cremated.
Cremated. So I mean, if that was our usual thing, I have no doubt Labiana would, try and find a suitable replacement body, as it were, to have cremated and put into some kind of, what do you call it?
Like an
One of
urn or
those.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So you drag the body to your mentor, to Fawzia. And you get to her small, 4 or 5 room chambers that are carved into rock. And the first thing you notice is she looks up and she says, she goes, Labiana, good. Come here, I have a task for you. And she sees the body you're carrying. And you look around and there's like bones and rotting parts everywhere. Just underfoot. It's tough to walk. And she just like clears a slab. And you put the body down. She goes, "This is great, and we're gonna dive right into this in a minute. I need you to figure out how we can get better, larger quarters, because we got experiments on top of experiments here, and I'm running out of room for the bones and stuff. Especially with you helping out to contribute to the size of the pile. Yeah, we need to figure out how we're gonna get a bigger space."
Yes, this has been a bit of a predicament for a while, but I'm sure we can work something out. Figure out something.
Your buddy Decius has a Nosferatu friend, right? You told me about that. Maybe you can discuss with them some sort of meeting, see if they'll be willing to help us out. We can provide, I'm sure, something to make it worth their while. I'm sure we can work together.
Seems a good place to start.
Okay, good. All right. And she's like, "All right, cool, fresh. What happened here? What's going on?"
Okay, well, basically, this woman had just given birth to a new baby mortal. I don't know if she'd use those words, but I just thought that'd be funny.
You actually might. It's a very accurate descriptor.
And well, ostensibly, she lost more blood than she was supposed to, and she was no more.
Oh,
I figured this would be a good opportunity to learn a little more about how this particular death came about.
Great. Let's do this. All right. So, and she like just like starts tearing the shroud wrapping and stuff off. She's like, all right. She looks down at the body. Um, it's still leaking a little bit. Like some of the afterbirth is still leaking out. It's that fresh. And she like leans down to smell it. She tastes it a little bit. Yeah, and she like makes a face. Ugh. She's like pawing at the body. It like rigor mortis hasn't even set in. It's that fresh. She's like, okay. All right. So look, you kind of have to use a knife. I don't. And she like just like sinks her fingers into the flesh and begins to peel the flesh back, without a knife, and it's just like it's like pulling, thick, tough dirt or mud like a clay, and she's like pulls. You can see her kind of strain a little bit. And she starts pointing at the layers. She's like, okay, so you can count layers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of skin. All right, you see the flab from where she stretched. Okay, and she's like going through the layers and talking about, okay, here's the muscle, and she starts at the juncture, right? She starts at the vagina, and she's looking at the damage, the torn muscles and walls, and she's so the two of you are like tearing into this, looking at it, looking at the veins and all the stuff that's down there. So roll a intelligence and medicine check as you guys are going through this, going through the body.
Okay. So I will just clarify, medicine or theology?
Yeah,
Not theology.
medicine.
Thanatology.
Medicine
ask
at the
'cause
moment, because thanatology is going to be the process of it rotting.
Okay.
Like you're literally just literally talking about the body itself. What made it die?
Sense. Intelligence, medicine. Just call it research. The standard diff?
Yes, please. Okay. Gain an experience point towards your medicine score as you are learning new things about the body, about the perils of giving birth, the muscle structure. Fazia doesn't even consider that this was a person who now has a baby who's never going to know its mother, or even that this was a person that you knew for years and provided you service. To her, this means nothing. It's just a body, a shell. And roll your conviction now. Roll your conviction.
Okay. Standard diff again, I presume?
Yes. Oh, well done. Gain an experience point towards your road. You did not allow compassion or pity to influence you. You were not swayed by emotion here. I wouldn't say this would have been needless to prevent the death, but yeah, you basically are slowly shedding off the last lingering bits of compassion. Yeah, the minute the body died, it ceased to be Malleus, and it started to be, oh, there's something I can learn from this.
Research. It was a research tool.
But eventually, after a couple of hours, you guys realize the candles are getting low. Fazia needs to go out and get some replacements. And you have personal stuff you have to do as well. So.
Indeed. Yeah, so before she leaves, Labian will obviously turn to Falzia and say, Thank you so much, Mentor, for allowing me to study this with you. I look forward to the next time.
Yes, and as the body begins to decay, I will count on you to enlighten me as to the actual process of what is happening. So she's actually going to dip into your knowledge of thanatology.
Okay.
Right. So you guys head out to do your things. Um, it's a little bit past midnight when Labiana, when you return, and Albina, you have, I'm sure, taken the time to get ready for your excursion tonight. You're at least going to go to one of the two places and search for the ring, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Decius has arrived as well, as he has things that he would like to do out in the areas. He has his two bodyguards with him. He comes in and he's been extending small talk with you. He's heard about the death of your cult member, of course. And, he's like, oh, and as Labian, as you come in, he says, oh, my condolences to you on the loss of one of your worshippers.
Abner's waves that condolences off. She left a replacement before she died. It is no true loss for the cult.
You can see he's considering a response, and then he wisely decides not to. He just nods his head. And he says, well, if you are ready, I'm more than willing to walk with you to either the Trest Verde or the Forum Vernalia.
I believe starting the trust fair would be the best move. I believe that is where I lost the ring, yes?
Yes, the Forum Vernalia. Yes, my manservant here was also so careless as to allow himself to be taken advantage of, and he casts him a very dirty look. Is obviously not pleased with him at all. Perhaps, perhaps without such distractions to divert our attention, we'll be able to get in and out cleanly.
Hopefully it is not going to be require a any amount. It's not going to be anything more than a shopping trip.
Right. Astartes, now is about when you arrive as well. You have done your nightly rituals, such things that you would normally do on a night-to-night basis, had conversations with those members of your clan in the city. You had the opportunity to discuss clan business, and now you're on to personal stuff.
Good evening, everyone. How are you guys doing today?
Starting. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Likewise,
Especially,
Miss Laviana. Albana.
Good evening, Astartes. It
Good
has been
evening.
for lack of a better word, a pleasant evening.
By your face, it sure seems like it.
she got herself a new toy to play when one of the girls died in childbirth.
Indeed.
Eh,
I've, and I've learned much.
I hope it was very informative for you. I remain I, I remain composed and do not show anything on my face, any emotion, none whatsoever. Then I go on. So, what are we going to do tonight? I'm done with Glen business, so I'm free for the next couple of hours.
I'm hoping to reacquire some of the possessions that were stolen from us during our excursion. Your presence would be greatly appreciated.
It would be my pleasure to join you.
Splendid. I had in mind to head first to a group of refugees that are seen dealing jewelry in the Trasteverde.
Okay, then let's go there then.
All right. So we heading to the Forum Vinalia or to the Trasteverde first?
I believe the Trasteverde is where the ring is stolen, yes?
No, it was stolen in the Forum Vinalia, the
Oh,
shopping.
then
Yeah.
the follow the my area
Yeah.
first then.
All right. You guys head that way. Roll me a D100 Astartes. Okay, you're good. None of you are accosted in any way or harmed, anything like that. So, you guys head off to the Forum. Um, you make your way to the Palatine Hill, and then off the side streets to the markets and the crowded alleys and the deep shadows, darkness, the thieves and assassins and just general street rats, and all these people ply their trade. And it's noisy as hell. Wagons everywhere, donkeys, ox, people crowd the streets. It's warm, you can smell it. The noise and sights and sounds and everything's just a cacophony of for your senses. I need a wits plus legerdemain roll to find the place.
From who?
Albana, why don't you do it and add a dice because I'm sure the others will be giving you advice, helping.
Labiana will help.
Yep.
Can I use a willpower on this?
Diff 6.
But can I use a willpower on this?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, I'm going
Because
to do so.
you stop and you're just like, I know they said this, and you force yourself to remember. Ooh.
At least it's not a botch.
It is a botch. No, that's not a botch. You used
The
willpower.
willpower, yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. You go around and around in circles. Like, fuck. I'm getting lost. Let's see. What's Decius got that can help? Let's see if one of his ghouls can help us out. I haven't looked at their character sheet in forever.
So can one of us try and make a roll as well?
Yeah, Labiana, you make the roll this time.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're going to be of no help.
Okay. Will I get extra dice?
Yes, you get one extra dice for everyone helping.
Have a look. Oh, I didn't know if it was standard diff, so.
Yeah, it's 6.
Okay.
All right, so you guys have gone around and around and around for a couple of hours, and you finally find the place. It's next to a shop that's got some questionable looking animals in it. The animals, of course, go crazy when you guys approach. They don't like you at all. Growling, hissing. The cats run away if they're not chained up. Somebody selling some rugs with only slight red stainage on them. As you walk past, you see them look at you and like roll their rugs up and no, so sorry, we're getting closed, and they pull their rugs away as the group walks past, and Astartes, Labiana, Albina, the three of you jam yourself in to this small area. There's not much room to move around, and you see a weedy-looking man, a little bit of a pot belly. He's got his hunched over a little bit. He's like, and he looks at you guys and he says, "Oh, I've been waiting for you. I was told you might come tonight."
I'm sorry, what?
He looks at Albina and he says, "I've been waiting for you. I heard you might be coming tonight."
Had you now? Have you heard why I could be coming here for?
Yes, I'm told that there's a selection of rings that you might wish to have a look. And he pulls out a box that's got like an iron latch on it, and he opens the latch, and he's got about 4 or 5 rings in there, men's sizes.
And she looks at each of the rings, putting them out of the box to examine them.
He gives you
First
one at a time. They're kind of plain. They fit the general description of what Mercurio's ring was. He was just a poor soldier. He couldn't afford lots of gems and jewels and stuff, so it was kind of plain. You roll 2 of them out right away, like there's no way this was it. But there's 2 more that are, they could be. They're the right size. They are kind of scratched up. Yeah, they could be it. There's 2 that could be.
She looks over to Labiana and starts. Could either of you please confirm the origin of these ones?
Sure. I take one ring.
Of course, and Labiana will take the other.
I'm gonna use Spirit Touch on
Okay.
it.
Albina, give me a number between 1 and 5.
1.
1. All right. So on a 1 to 11 on this D100 roll, it is the correct ring. All right. So Astartes, go ahead and roll your Spirit's Touch for me. Yes. With 4 successes, memory is transported. You see the ring on the hand of a man, and he's working. You see the sunshine. He's laying brick or something, and you hear suddenly "Watch out! Look out!" And a man looks up, and falling brick and wood just crashes down on top of him. And even as he lays dying, somebody runs up, grabs the ring, and rips it off his hand. And that's when the vision ends. It is clearly not Albina's ring.
Oh, I was also going to ask, what difficulty are we going to have for these Spirit's Touch rolls?
Let's just do 6.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, and Labiana, of course, is going to do the same with the other one.
All right. Once again, a 1 through 5, please, Albina.
1 again. Fuck.
Or sorry, there was technically it was 1 to 21, not 1 to 11, but yeah. All right. Go ahead, Labiana. Make your Spirit's Touch roll.
Here we go.
All right. Labiana, uh, you are transported back. There's an old man, and he's dying, and you see him pulls the ring off with a shaking, liver-spotted hand and hands it to his son, maybe his grandson, when the vision ends. Albina, roll a perception plus empathy, please.
Say it, having that vision, Labiana would turn to Albina and just simply shake her head.
All right. The vendor's hiding something. He's his stance, his way his hands are. Um, you think he might have a little bit more to give.
Alpina bites her lips as she sees the confirmation that none of the rings are what she's looking for, and as she notices that the vendor is holding back on her, she finds herself glancing over at him and decides and just shakes her head. I don't have the time for this. Show me what you are hiding, and then proceeds to dominate him.
Okay. Make your dominate roll at difficulty 3. Oh, excellent. Yeah, he against his will, he takes obviously he's taking the ring and everything back. He's like, no, please, you know, I shouldn't. Somebody's already put a payment on these, and he pulls a second box out that's like hidden deep under the counter, and these are like rich rings, but there's one in there, one particular ring, and it's got the Legionnaire symbol engraved in it. You still need confirmation, but you would say this is probably a 50-50 chance this is Mercurios. This is definitely a soldier's ring. It's the right size and everything. So, would you like high or low?
I'm going to take high.
It is okay. So it's not, but it very well could be. Who's going to do the test?
She's going to hand it off to Laviana.
Right, let's take a look then. I'll obviously take it and concentrate a little harder with this one. So can I actually spend a willpower on this one?
Yes, I will let you do that.
Okay. Yes.
With 5 successes, you see everything about this ring: the battle that it was last worn in, the man who picked it off his friend's corpse and carried it with him as a treasured heirloom, and then the feel of a knife slitting the cord on which he was wearing it, and the thief who took it, and the anguish even of the man when he realizes it's gone. Once again, not Mercurio's ring, but clearly stolen.
Once again, she'll turn to Albina. And I'll even, despite looking emotionless, Albina would recognize the confident look. And she would once again shake her head.
Now turn to the merchant, putting the ring back on his hand. You clearly have your hands on the trade of legionary rings. but this is not the one that I am looking for. How, who else would deal in such merchandise?
He's pretty scared. You have successfully frightened the fuck out of him. He gives you a couple of people. He knows of a couple of people in the Trust of Verde who are funneling goods from the immigrants and stuff into Rome itself. One of those names you've already heard from your cult. And he tells you of another one in the Subura forum. But he says, that guy, he's kind of got a reputation as like a witch doctor. Very scary. Nobody messes with him.
Very well.
Um,
Go ahead.
go on.
No, you go ahead first. You want to say something, I believe?
Yeah, I want to ask the merchant. He said that the other guy had a reputation as a witch doctor. What did he mean by that?
A male shaman, I guess would be the right word. Someone who channels the spirits of nature and like, yeah, it's enchants jewelry and things like that. He's got a reputation for knowing things he should not know, and for being protected in ways that transcend mere steel.
And at what time is his shop usually open?
He keeps his own hours. Sometimes he's open and sometimes he isn't. It's I can't really tell you. I don't even know if he's open tonight.
Okay, thank you for the information.
And he's obviously scared. I mean, being dominated will have that effect on people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you very much get the impression he would not have volunteered this information if otherwise.
Oh, Libian will turn to him. We thank you for your cooperation.
He considers making a sales pitch and then keeps his mouth shut. Like, I just want you guys out of here. You can see it in his eyes.
Smile at him and say, "See you soon."
Alvina does not even address the scene as she steps outside.
In there, I realized something. What languages do all of you speak? So sometimes we will be able to speak in other languages that our people won't be able to understand.
Latin, Phoenician, Greek, Sicilian, I believe.
I think Lobian is pretty much the same, except replace Sicilian with Etruscan. If I remember correctly.
Curious, which of these languages are the least known in Rome at this moment?
Carthaginian Phoenician. If somebody knows that, they're probably from Carthage.
And it's the same as the Phoenician that we know, or is it different?
It's a dialect.
So basically, we will be able to speak Phoenician, and count of 80% of the people not be able to understand what we're speaking.
Yeah, pretty much. I would say more than that, like 95.
Okay.
Yeah, if somebody speaks Phoenician, they're either an extremely well-traveled merchant, extremely well-educated, or they're from the area. And if they're from the area, they'll look it. You'll be able to tell.
Okay. I look at Alvin and Labiana and speak in Phoenician them. Are we ready to continue?
We are, yes.
Before we go, I take off all my jewelry and all my coins and hand them to Barekbal and tell him store them in your armor at your breastplate.
All right. He ducks off to a public toilet and takes his breastplate off and like wraps it up, and then does his best to put his breastplate on comfortably, but it's not going to be a great job.
When he returns, I smile at him apologetically. I know it's uncomfortable, but it's the only way we can be sure that it's not gonna get stolen.
Yep. Decius is like, he comes up, he says, so, where to?
We got a few new leads. There is apparently some kind of witch doctor in the Trusted Verde. He seems like a most likely location for this. I imagine should have a special desire to have his hands on the something on the a special ring of a vampire.
Indeed. Well, we could always go and see if they are open, and if not, we can then try one of the other options.
Yes.
So I need Albina, I need you to make a D100 roll, and Labiana, I want you to make a wits and legerdemain check to navigate. Right.
Okay.
As you guys navigate through the streets, you see several times people give you appraising looks and back down. They thought about it, but they decided not to tonight.
Okay. You said wits and legerdemain?
Yes, please.
Cool. Just making sure it was wits and not intelligence. Ooh.
All right. Astartes, give me a intelligence and survival roll. And in the meantime, Albina, you can remake the legerdemain roll.
They have 6.
Yes, please. All right. Astartes, you've only got a few more hours until dawn. You don't have a lot more time to be running around tonight.
Oh, yeah. I just realized I actually didn't add the extra dice, but that's okay.
That's okay.
I'll forego that.
Albina did between you and Albina, you guys did eventually find the appropriate market and the appropriate alleyway within it.
Guys, we should hurry up because we do not have a lot of time left. We do not want to get stranded out here.
That would be unpleasant, yes.
Maybe we can come back tomorrow.
The longer we take, the more likely it is for the ring to move forward. I'd rather sit out tonight, if at all possible. If you
Well-
desire to depart, and not hold it against you.
Well, I'm
Chris.
sure we can.
Yes, go ahead.
Which location is closer to here? The
Sabura Market is much closer.
no, but I'm talking about which haven, Mine Haven or the Cult's Haven.
Probably yours.
So I will be able to, let's say, stick up about 1 hour here and still make it back to my haven.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Okay, guys. I propose we spend about 1 hour here, and then we have just about time to make it to my haven. You guys can stay there during
Well,
the day.
that's with time to spare, right? You're you have time to get to your own havens unless you decide to take another detour or something happens. If something happens that makes you take more time, then obviously, yeah, you're going to need a plan.
So
I suppose the decision would be to make our next stop the last one for the night, before retiring and trying again tomorrow night.
I support that decision.
It's a reasonable decision. Yes.
Then we should make haste.
Right, you guys get there. The Subura Market at night, and even edging in a little bit towards the morning, as you guys are, is still crowded. However, during the day, this is known as the poor man's market. Everything here is of low quality, but of course, in the back corners and crevices, sometimes hidden by magic or hidden in plain sight, you have the amulet sellers here and the vendors of wax and special stones and all the little bits and bobs of those of occultic persuasion might find useful. You head around a corner. You have to ask around a lot for this man. Obviously, he's got a reputation because people are a little bit scared of him. So you have to ask around and talk to people. But eventually they point you, there's a little narrow crevice between two buildings, and you have to kind of edge your way in. And you go around a corner, and he has a small little building set up that's like uses the walls of the surrounding buildings as his walls. You notice there are several people in the alleyways that you had to step over who are not fully asleep. They look ready to leap up at the slightest word or a call for help. And this guy, he's dressed in animal skins. He's got pendants hanging off of his neck. He's got bracelets on his wrist. He's got some gemstones and stuff in them. Made of different metals. One is made of gold, one is made of iron. Overall, he looks very much nothing like a Roman priest. Obviously, he's some sort of priest, or at least fancies that he is a priest of some kind. But he's nothing, does not worship Roman gods.
I would like to use Read the Soul to see if I detect any hint of magical aura or something like that. Unnatural aura about him.
Go
Yeah.
ahead. Perception, empathy,
I've-
difficulty 8. That's per the book.
I have to admit, I was legit going to say the same thing, given what they were told.
Yeah, go
at
ahead.
The last
feel,
place.
Feel free to do the same thing.
Okay.
Astartes, you stop and you peer at his soul. You stare at him, and all you see is bright color. Labiana, though, his aura practically leaps off of his body at you, and you're drawn into it. Swirls of color, 3 and 4 different colors, primarily nice light blue, little bits of white for purity, and Auspex. I'll see Auspex.
So I was
Yes.
checking the color chart myself.
He is mostly blue, white. Well, sorry, no, not blue, because that's not the right one. Calm. He is very light blue, not dark blue, very light blue. He's got white.
Okay.
And threads of dark blue that wind and shift through his aura. And you get the occasional, sometimes, spark of gold that light up like pops in a campfire, popping off of the flames. Little gold sparkles sometimes.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, so upon gathering all this from him, she'll just, to herself, I think mainly, a very inaudible nod. Okay. Determining, obviously, that he's not supernatural, at least at this point.
Yeah, he's got a brazier with some hot coals in it, so putting off some heat. And he seems to be standing near it, and he's got some slices of meat sizzling on it, so you can hear the of a sizzling beef on the brazier.
Then again, though, would Labiana actually understand the patterns she's looking at the moment?
You would understand the emotions. The little sparkles of gold are new. It's not something
Did
you've seen often.
did Laviana tell me what she saw?
She hasn't had time yet.
At this stage, I don't know if she'd be able to kind of indicate in some way that, at the very least, not kindred. Some kind of hand signal, I don't know. Or expression. Sure. Either that or she'll leave it for now. And if she gets the opportunity, she'll just kind of lower voice whisper kind of thing.
Well, having essentially failed at reading his soul, I'm just gonna study his body language
Right.
and see.
He looks at you guys come in, and he kind of whispers to himself, "Oh, new faces for Vaso." He's got this thick accent. Can't quite place it. New men for Vaso to see. Oh, and they're women. Oh, big chest. Yes, big chest.
I'm just going to step forward to him. Pastor, yes. We hear a great deal about you. We hear you are involved in the selling and buying of military rings.
He kind of looks at you, Albina, and undresses you with his eyes, and just starts kind of nodding. He's like, yes, rings. Vaso has rings. Rings of baby, perhaps. Rings of marriage.
No, rings of soldiers, of legionnaires.
Oh, to bring your love back safe. Yes, I have rings like that.
Stolen rings, perhaps?
Me, I no steal nothing. I steal nothing.
Of course not. I'd like to see your collection.
And he looks at you, and suddenly his eyes are now sharp. And I would like to see your money.
She smiles. Then she's going to imagine plot a pocket of a coin.
He kind of hefts it a little bit, makes no move to pocket it, but he's got it right where he can grab it super quick if he needs to. And he reaches down. He kind of shuffles around a little bit. You hear him, that kind of stuff, right? And he's got a little tiny box about the size of a small ball, little tiny box. And he twists it open, and there's 4 or 5 rings sitting in it. And he kind of holds them in his hand, palm out, shakes them around a little bit. He goes, see what you like? You try?
She looks over the rings. Does any of them immediately catch her eyes as being a possible match?
Yeah, 4 of them do.
She's going to pick out those 4 and turn over to Labiena and the starters. If you'd please.
I take 2 of them, and is the difficulty still 6?
Yeah, and just to cut this a little bit easier, if I roll over a 25, at least one of these rings is correct.
Okay.
Okay. Now it's all on you guys. Don't botch.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go first. I have to make 2 rolls, right?
Yep, 2 each.
2, 8. Okay. So I'll let you go first.
All right, stop there.
Nice.
Just stop. Unless Labiena botches. Go ahead, Labiena.
Oh. Alright, well. Let's have a look.
Not a botch.
2.
Okay. Astartes, on 6 successes, you hold the one ring. You actually kind of slip it on your thumb, because Mercurio was a big dude. And you are transported in your mind back to Carthage. Instantly, the fighting, the sounds, and you look to your left, and you see Albina fighting at your side. A wave after wave of people, blood literally coating your feet. You see ice on her feet, for the blood has frozen at its touch. And somebody comes up with a spear, and you see Mercurio that you experience grabbing her and moving, and the spear pierces your chest. Albina grabs you, drags you into a building, rips the spear out, and as you're bleeding out, she just looks at you and bites her wrist and shoves it against your mouth, and you die again. I need you to roll your self-control at difficulty 4. All right. Yeah, it's a little freaky to feel yourself die again, but you've got it under control.
I look at Abena, a little bit shaken, and I nod.
A sign of relief comes across her face briefly before it returns to the stony demeanor that she usually has. She grabs the remaining 3 rings and gives them over back to Vaz. This one. She points over to the one being worn by Astartes. I want this one.
He just slides the bag of coins off, and he says, "Pleasure to do business with you."
She's going to nod. Likewise, Vaz.
Labiena will give a brief nod in respect.
She looks over to Astartes and Labiena. I am ready to depart. Is there anything that either of you like to see before that?
No, I'm okay.
Yeah, I don't believe so. I think we can head off.
All right, one last time. Labiena, this time you make a D100 roll.
Okay.
So, before she departs, she's going to proceed to grab a blade, or slit her wrist, and put the ring inside of it before she heals it back up.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. A 1. Oh no. Oh no. No. Oh god.
I saw that and I'm like, oh boy.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. Music theme switch time.
So it appears I've taken on Dennis's bad luck.
Don't forget, Dennis or Decius is here with you, so I might need to leave his character sheet open. Music, music, music. All right. Here's the deal. You guys are under a time crunch. You cannot spend a lot of time on this fight.
Okay.
So, as you guys march back out through the Subura, you turn the corner and you accidentally make a wrong turn. You're like, oh, yeah, I don't recognize this alley. We need to get out of here. And a group of beings come out. Two of them level crossbows, and two of them have knives, and one of them just steps out and he goes, well, well, well. Here I am bringing some nice new cubs along on a nice uneventful patrol, and what steps into our path? And he kind of rolls his shoulders, and you guys can stop me anytime, because he begins to change.
Uh,
His muscles begin to pop and grow, and claws begin to come out. His
Yes.
skin gets all furry.
Avna is going
Wasn't
to
that-
dominate one of the guys with the crossbows.
Well, actually, out of character, I was just going to ask, how shielded are we from the street?
Very shielded.
I think Labiena is going to turn to Albin and go, yeah, you might have to,
All right. Initiative rolls from everyone.
hold on. I'm just looking for something very quick. Hold on before we start. How heavy is this guy?
About at the moment about 450 pounds.
I forgot about it then.
But yeah, alright, so obviously Labiena's going to do the usual things. I'm just going to double check. Something I always forget when I activate Alga Mortis. Temporary willpower, that's right. Down to 4 for the night.
Let's see.
How high are the buildings near us?
3 stories.
Another question. If I make it up to the roof, can mortals spot us?
Nobody's looking up there. There might be people up there, just escaping the heat and the crowds, but I guarantee you nobody's staring at the top of those buildings going, I wonder if somebody's climbing that. Awesome. Flaviana. Great.
Okay.
Great idea.
Hang on. Oops. Keep forgetting to... No, we don't really have a token, so...
Yeah, just roll the. There you go. 11. 11 total. Wow, that's a suck roll. But you're not the worst one.
No.
All right, and just let me roll for Decius's guys. I think they got like a base of 5 or 6. Let's say 6. Come on, roll 20. Come on, catch up, catch up. Catch up, catch up, catch up. All right. So we got 2 knife guys. We got, at the moment, 2 knife guys. We got 2 crossbow guys, and there's more people in the shadows. More people that are about to be coming out and joining the fight. This is what you're dealing with this round. All right. Werewolf's going first, and who's on point? Who was leading the pack? I'm just gonna make a random roll if nobody wants to be the one.
No, we didn't really
All
think
right.
about who was going to be.
I'm gonna make a random roll.
So,
Decius is a 4, and it's an alphabetical order after that. So Labiena, Astartes, Albina. Astartes, coming after you. Claw attack.
I want to dodge it.
Excellent idea. Dex Athletics.
Ouch.
So he hits you for 4 successes. So that's going to be a 14 aggravated potential.
oh dear.
Bye bye.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Minus 2 is 8. Do you have any armor on?
No.
Do you have any fortitude?
No.
Okay. Would you like high or low?
Give me low.
All right. Who is your favorite? Your sister or your bodyguard?
I would say my sister.
Okay. From the rooftops, you guys literally never looked up, never noticed. The werewolf reaches back, and literally just before the claws hit, Astartes, you in a blur, it's so fast none of you guys even saw it coming. Somebody shoulder tackles you, and you go flying into the doorway, where you bounce, boom, off the wall. And everybody sees this dark, one-eyed form there for a half second before the claws disappear and rip its head off. And your sister, poof, collapses in a pile, is gone. Pile of ash, done.
Do I see that?
Yes, you definitely see that. I need you to roll your self-control at difficulty 10. Holy shit! No, that's not right. You rolled the wrong difficulty. All right. I need to look up your character sheet for a second. Because I need to see what you can do. Come on, characters. There it is. Boom, boom. Frenzy doesn't always mean mindless rage. Sometimes it means something completely different. And Astartes has dropped into a state that's somewhere between frenzy and lucidity. He's clearly not in control of himself, but he's not mindless. Hey, Elementum. All right, Astartes, roll your willpower. Permanent willpower, or actually current willpower.
Is my current willpower at maximum right now, right?
Yes, I believe it is.
Div 6?
Diff 7. All right. You turn into a big fucking boulder. A big, vaguely Astartes-shaped boulder right in the doorway, blocking everyone that's inside of it. And you guys all see this happen. Where Astartes was, just like that, is now a big fucking boulder in the doorway. Don't know what happened. None of you guys are magicians, but it happened. The good part is he's now blocking 3 people from getting out of that. And he's also blocking the crossbowman who was going to fire at you from there. All right, that's the werewolf. Astartes. Albina, you're up.
Yeah. After seeing what happened, Alpina is going to go into shadow form.
Very, very smart move. You spend your blood and you begin to transform.
Yes.
Labiana, you're up next.
Okay. Well, I suppose the first thing I really need to do out of character is figure out who's where, who I'm closest to, and whether it's worth making any kind of offensive move right now.
I'll be honest. If it was me, I would be running. Because fuck this noise.
But given what's just happened, she's probably going to have to scour for another way out. So I'm not sure if she's got anywhere to run to. That's the other question.
You can run up.
Let's start climbing.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose that's what she's going to do. Find the nearest wall, as such, and start climbing.
All right. Give me a Dex Athletics.
Oh. Okay. Don't know why I closed my character sheet, but okay. Dex Athletics. Standard diff?
Yeah, standard diff.
Sweet.
All right. With 5 successes, you parkour up the wall. You are a story and a half up, easily out of reach and any easy reach of grasping hands or weapons. They can still hit you with the crossbow, but they're not going to hit you with melee or brawl. So you're not quite at the roof, but you're getting there.
Excuse me.
All right. Decius. Here, let's look up his character sheet real quick. I gotta look up his level of either dominate or presence. Ooh, you got... Decius drops Majesty. Just each of you feels a wave of, look at me, look at how great I am, bow before me, and all the mortals turn, look, boof, down they go to their knees. Even the werewolf is struggling to resist. They can do nothing, and Decius just says, enough of this! Cease this unwarranted aggression! And that's the end of combat for all the mortals. They ain't doing shit. The werewolf, although, is going to attempt to resist. Because he's a fucking werewolf, and fuck you guys. I believe that's just willpower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he is in for a world of surprise, because he doesn't know what's about to happen to him. If he does. Alright. The werewolf... just fuck you. Startles forward, and just straight down at Decius. Just boom! For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9 holy shit successes. Decius might be dead. 9, 18, 20 dice of aggravated damage.
Fuck me.
Well, that's a shit damage roll on 20 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 10, 11. And he has Fortitude 5 for the win.
Wow.
So let me count that up again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 10, 11. He's hurt bad. The werewolf peels him open like a fucking banana. From neck to crotch. Skin, some of his, a great deal of vitates, and the scent of vampiric blood permeates the alley instantly. Decius staggers and falls to a knee, but he's alive. And instantly, all the humans, all of them, jump on top of the werewolf. The guys with the crossbows, point blank range, poof, poof. The people are jabbing with their knives. They're dogpiled his ass. And now he's just like fighting, trying to get him off. Get off of me! What's wrong with you? Just trying to throw the mortals off, and he throws one off, the next one jumps back on him. His two ghouls, Barrack Ball, same thing. Just as much in him as they can. Boom, 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 boom. Decius kind of staggers back, and he does the whistle thing. And he's like, get me out of here! And his ghouls break away and grab him and begin to pull him out. Astartes, you regain enough lucidity to signal Barrack Ball to do the same thing. You return to your normal constitution and get the fuck out of there.
Um, is Labiana still on the
Yeah,
roof?
Labiana, you climb unopposed, and Albina, what do you do? You're in shadow form, unopposed, untouched.
She's going to be dropping a knockdown to cover the escape of her coterie before she proceeds to also slither away.
Oh my god! My god! Holy shit! Whoo! Boy, I thought more than you were gonna die. More of you were gonna die. Holy shit! All right. Yeah, you guys get the fuck out of there. You're gone.
Yeah. So Libya will obviously find a way. Like
Yeah.
once she realizes what's going on, she'll clamber over the roof a
The
bit
sounds
more
of
and
the
climb,
sounds of
pretty much climb down
yeah.
the other side.
The very rough roars. Get off me! Just trying to get them off, and the effect fades after a couple of minutes. They're not able to do any real harm to the werewolf. That you don't think, but if they did, hey, who the heck knows? But yeah, you guys are all out of there, gone.
It was a good distraction.
Decius's ghouls have spirited him out of there, presumably back to his haven. Because you guys have no idea where they went. They just got the hell out of Dodge. Wow. Discretion truly is the better part of valor.
Indeed.
I had flashbacks from last week.
Yeah, I was,
Yes.
Hey,
kind of
Halloween.
worried for a second there. Not gonna lie.
dance disciplines for the win, man. That's all I can say. Dominate for presence 5 and fortitude 5. Get you out of a hell of a lot of situations.
Um, Chris, one one question: if I try to entrance the werewolf, would it have while I was in boulder form?
You achieved 3 successes, so yes, you could entrance them. That's a nice boulder. I like that boulder. Somebody gets the reference.
The donkey moment.
Yep. Love what you've done to place with such a modest budget.
With that
Thank you.
voice, now I recognize it.
Yeah, I spend too much time with people who are big Shrek fans. I know it well.
Ooh, yeah, you guys get out of there with your lives intact. Screw dignity. I'd rather be alive.
Dignity can be recovered, life not so much.
All right, you guys are safely out of there, back to your havens in time. But Astartes, you are almost entranced. You see over and over in your head, over and over and over. You feel the shove, and you see a fearless eye staring up at a murder muscle mountain. Doesn't even flinch as you over as and over as the claws just take her head off. How do you react? What do you do?
Actually, I was thinking about that, and I believe the way I had envisioned started, he would be suicidal at this moment because basically his sister was his sole being, sole reason to be alive, his motivation for his night to night operations. Because even since day one, he was embraced, he was searching for his sister. So I believe he would be suicidal at this moment.
They bring you back to the chambers of the children of Hakim, and Barrack Ball can't stop you, but he tries to just like walk beside you, and you pace through the halls, and you come to Golzar's chambers, which have been empty for so many months. His gentle smile and his laugh, and it seems so much emptier without Golzar. And now the tiny closet room that your sister preferred to stay in, her weapons hanging neatly on the wall, oiled, polished, a spare set of armor on the mat underneath her sleeping mat, and prayers to Hakim written on the wall in her own blood. All that remains. There are a few. There's at least one other warrior here. And he sees you walking past and he stops. He says, he sees the look on your face and he approaches you, puts his hand on your shoulder. My cousin, you are afflicted, I see it. Tell me, speak to me, do not lose yourself in the melancholy.
She's no more. Starcia, she's no more. Start crying tears of blood while looking at the prayers written on the wall. Start crying really hard, like sobbing. Start sobbing actually like a little kid.
Hakim, our father, honored us all with a gift. As warriors, as a fellow warrior, I must know. Did she uphold to the last her purity and her honor and her discipline?
I stop and say, she was fearless until the end. Never hesitated, never even flinched, even when her head came off her body.
She swore to protect the Castellan of Rome. Did she die honoring her oath?
That she did.
And she never once acted cowardly or dishonorably?
Never.
He gestures to the prayers. Such a thing, a sacrifice, is not to be taken lightly. And such a death is not to be such a death must be given due consideration. And he reads the prayers with you. Prayers to Hakim about asking for guidance in situations. Prayers about weakness, to excise that which would slow her down, that which would stop her hand. Prayers to protect her will, to make her worthy of any oaths she might swear. Prayers upon prayers upon prayers. How many nights had she meditated, seeking to hear the voice of Hakim speaking through her blood? Does her death warrant a response? Did she fall to an unworthy foe?
It wasn't unworthy fool because it was a werewolf. I would have been dead if it wasn't for her.
then she has given you a second chance. She has given us all a second chance. Without you here, without your guidance, who would navigate the treacherous waters of power? Who would guide us through the white water rocks that lay underneath the deceptively still surface of the Roman baths? Who would guide us through the jaws and teeth of those animals that lie in wait to corrupt us?
As he's saying all that, I start to realize that right now the only thing I have left is my duty to my clan. So I start to toughen it up and start acting more the role of the Castellan. I become immediately seriously, but you can see it's all an act. What was the name of the area that we were in?
We were in the Subura market.
Okay. The first order I'm gonna give that no Esselmite will be in that district until I tell otherwise. That area is off limits to the Esselmite clan while in Rome. Thus, I'm not gonna have any more deaths on my conscience if I can help it.
He nods his assent. I understand.
And if it's gonna be daytime, I feel like I wanna stay awake during the day to pray. Keep praying during the day as penance.
Okay. I believe that is a road roll to stay awake once an hour at difficulty 8 every time. So you shut yourself up in the closet to do penance and to begin to meditate and pray upon that which you see before you. So make a road score roll. See if you pass. Now, I don't remember the exact rules for this. I know there's rules in a book for it. I don't remember off the top of my head where they're at. All right. The sun comes up. You immediately begin to struggle hard. Your body wants to send you to the slumber. You may spend a point of willpower and re-roll, and now all of your rolls are at difficulty 9. However, you do manage the first hour. All right. You've managed the first hour, and you're making it into the second hour. So keep rolling 70-10. All right, second hour, same thing. You're about halfway through it, and you cannot stop anymore. You can spend up another point of willpower, and start. Your rolls will now be difficulty 10. All right, you've made it all the way through the second hour, and by the start of the third hour, you can no longer hold, and you collapse in her room. You do not regain any willpower during this day.
I feel it's merited.
All right, Labiana and Albina, you guys meet back up in the group called Haven.
Alban is going to proceed to look over everyone present at Labiana and at Astartes. The last night I went for one. Astartes.
Astartes is not there.
Oh, okay. The last night as I went for one, these werewolves seem to have lost the fear of the city once again. Perhaps another massacre is in order to remind them of who are the masters of this place.
Indeed. I mean, I suppose it has to happen every once in a while. As we well know, mortals can become unruly.
At least every once in a while you find a mortal that is worthy of your time, and perhaps even worthy of your blood. Werewolves, on the other hand, they are all vermin, all savages.
Yes, they are indeed merely animals.
Did you
And
son?
I was gonna say, I do agree with what you said regarding, yes, potential childer. I'm sure I'll come across another in no time.
Did you son what happened to the sister of Astartes? Her death at the hands of that creature.
Mm. I was gonna say, I don't, out of character, would Labiana have seen it, given, would she have been on her way up the roof when that happened, up the wall when that happened?
Yeah, you were halfway up, but you might have like paused for a second to look down and see if anybody's climbing up after you.
Okay. Yes. Also out of character, not knowing, I suppose, the ways of the the children of Hakim. But perhaps assuming how much she might have meant to Astartes. Yes. You know, if I'd been young, obviously, at a certain point, I might have felt something, and I might even have said it was very similar to another particular occurrence.
The death of her own child is, yes. They died not due to similarly protecting us from those savages. I cannot help but feel rage piling up within me as that memory is brought forward once again. I wonder how Astartes is going to deal with this. I find myself tempted to offer my assistance in his endeavors. After all, he has came with us because I asked him to.
Knowing how Albina in particular feels, like knowing her as long as she has, and how she feels about this kind of thing, but from a very detached sort of point of view than what she would have had before. She'll just give Albina a slight nod, like that familiar kind of nod of, understanding and say, I had a feeling you might, and I must say, you of course would be better suited for these kinds of things. I'm sure Astartes has his own ways of dealing with things, but I know you would, offer any assistance if you felt he needed it.
Diana, what projects are you currently working on?
Well, as you well know, my study into the damn it, what was the word I was just thinking of? The forms, for lack of a better word, of the states of the human body, so to speak, is an ongoing project of mine. Aside from that, nothing else much really, other than attempting to hold the cult together in Hatshepsut's absence.
Yes, I don't know how she did it. Just 1 week, those creatures, it's making me tempted to start crucifying them.
Indeed. But I think, if not for Hatshepsut's sake, but perhaps the sake of the silence of the blood, I think it's better this way, at least for now.
Yes, they are more useful alive than they would be dead. And we do not have enough to go around discarding the rebellious one just yet.
And I suppose you could say it, at least on the occasion of our latest loss, at the very least we had one to replace them. So it wasn't a complete loss.
She nods in agreement. Before a slight smile pops on her face. Do you appreciate the way how I turned that little mishap around?
Yes, I must admit.
I must say, it was a moment that I took particular pride in. I felt just ready, and it also felt extremely pleasurable to be able to vent my frustrations and angers at them without, and not only not resulting in the loss of the loss of the faith in us, but perhaps even strengthening it. It was certainly an enjoyable experience.
Well, I'm certainly glad you did get some enjoyment out of it. I am sure that their faith in us has been strengthened through that experience.
Well, if there is anything that you require, I put myself at your disposal. But for now, I believe there is a matter that I must attend to. I must make a meeting with the Nosferatu. Uh, let's see what is his name.
can't remember.
Good question. I have to look it up too.
Uh, yes.
Telecles, which I always want to say testicles, and it's not testicles, it's telecles. I don't know why I do this to myself.
I must look, I must arrange a meeting with the Nosferatu Tentacles.
Yes, of course. Now, out of character, obviously gathering this isn't the same Nosferatu that Balzia mentioned.
She just said go talk to the Nosferatu. She didn't give a specific one.
Right.
The Nosferatu that everyone quote unquote knows is in charge is a Nosferatu named Redolinius.
Okay. I figure that out of character on this occasion, Labiana probably, well, knows this, and will say, of course, Albina, I do have other things I need to attend to myself. So you have a wonderful evening.
All right. Now would seem an appropriate moment to take 10 minutes and recharge coffee or tea or whatever. So let's do that. Okay, and we're back. It's a new night. Some of you, Albina, you wake up, and the first thing you notice is that the ring that you sealed inside your flesh is laying on the bed beside you. Your body, during the day, ejected the metal.
She's going to proceed to once again slash at her wrist and put the ring inside of her once again.
Okay? You lick the wound shut.
Yes.
They've found a wet nurse for the baby. They are still walking on eggshells around Albina after her very frightening outburst the previous night. Astartes, you awaken inside of Astarchia's room. Decius, still no word from Decius. And no word from Androdamus. He's out and about doing things. Presumably for his own patron. So, let's start with Labiena and Albina.
Once she has woken up, she's going to proceed to ask Laviana if she'd like to go hunting together. Or if she already, she did want to tell Laviana that she plans to go hunting, she's going to ask her if she wants to come together. If she already do this separate.
So wait, is this for the Nosferatu, or did you say something about hunting?
Go hunting.
Actually, hunting wouldn't be a bad idea. So, Labiana's like, yeah, looks like I do need to top up a little bit. Feeling a bit peckish. Could do with a snack.
Equally.
Yeah, you guys head out into the streets. Tonight seems to be pretty crowded for some reason. More crowded than usual. The crowds press in on you. It's uncomfortable. Both of you guys make perception and alertness rolls. Albina, I'm going to give you an extra dice for this, because, yeah, you just got robbed, so... All right, both Labiena and Albina, as you're making your way through the crowds, you both feel hands slapping at your waist, looking for your coins.
After going to attempt to grab the hand,
You will do so. You grab a grimy, skinny wrist, and you are strong enough that they cannot escape your grasp.
I'm
she
thinking
put,
Labiena probably wouldn't have had the sense to, if they're just feeding, to have not brought any of that with her.
Well, you can also grab at the hands if you want.
As far as the everyone they're passing, I think she's going to refrain.
Okay. They don't get anything. You obviously are not robbed. But Albina, you grab at this hand, kind of squeeze, and a guy looks to be pretty skinny, maybe 16, 17, all skin and bones. Not very good thief either. Kind of like, oh, let go of my hand. What are you doing? Nobody even pays attention to him.
she's going to proceed to stare him at the eye, say, "Stay quiet," and dominate him.
Okay, no roll required. His mouth snaps shut with an audible. He tries to speak, but he can't get any words out or anything.
Putting on a smile and acting as if she has approached, she's going to be draping herself around him, using her potence to keep him under her control as she starts guiding him to a nearby alleyway.
Okay, yeah, he can't resist you. So he does. He tries, but it's inevitable. It's going to happen. You get him there.
Once she is away from the crowd, she's going to proceed to drop her pretense of being a whore and look to Labiana. Would you like to join me, or would you rather find one for yourself?
I think I'll let you have fun with this one. I'll find one for myself.
She nods and proceeds to bite into him.
He pretty much immediately collapses into your arms. You have to hold him up. How much do you take?
Then,
You take 9. He only has 9. His blood is thin, weak. He's obviously malnourished. Because that he was very, very skinny, very little muscle on him. And roll your stamina plus fortitude at difficulty 6. All right. He was sick, but it was an illness that doesn't really spread through the blood, so you're fine. You are not a carrier.
taking the wound shut again, she's just going to let the body that dropped, place it on a convenient way, a way that could be that could be attributed to some natural causes,
Right.
and step out.
Yep. As far as anybody is concerned, you drug him into the alley and you kissed his neck, and he started to pass out, and you let him drop and walked away. That's all anybody's concerned ever saw. Labiena, you keep on heading about your way, knocking away the groping hands, looking for whatever they can get their grubby little paws on. So, what else? How are you going to hunt? What are you looking for?
Um, well, ultimately, she's just going to try and find somebody who's, I suppose she's trying to determine whether or not she'll be able to either find a way to nab someone in the crowd and then just in one swift motion divert them off into an alleyway without without anyone noticing it too much, or dipping into an alley with someone there and doing it that way.
All right. So you're going to have more luck just getting somebody in an alley. So make your hunting roll at difficulty 4, since that's who you're going after.
Go my usual out.
All right. Yeah, you step through, begin picking your way through the crowded nooks and crannies of Roman streets, and you find yourself somebody huddled up against a wall. He's kind of half buried in the trash heap, but he looks to be alone, and nobody's really bothering with him. So you feel like you can do what you need to do with no trouble. Do you take it all? Take all 10, or actually all 9 of what's in him?
I believe she would.
Okay. Yes, you dip down and take him out of his misery. And surprisingly, his blood is clean, and you are not do not become a carrier of any kind of weird disease. All right. The two of you have fed well, satisfied your hunger, and meet back up at a fountain nearby.
Ah, that was surprisingly satisfying. How was yours?
A bit thinner than what I would like, but the quantity made up for the lack of quality.
Ah, fair enough.
I proceed on. I will go on to search for, try to contact Telecus.
Okay, so he is on the Appian Way, near the southern gates of the Servian Wall. Beyond that, you don't really know how to get his attention. Roll intelligence and survival. There are two surefire ways to get his attention, but they both involve setting up somebody as bait. One way is to set yourself up as bait, and the other way is to have somebody else be bait, and then you watch for Telecles to show up and take it.
Bait as in food or bait as in.
Something that provokes him to respond.
She's going to proceed to. Would she know what to get him to respond first of all?
Well, a threat to his domain.
So, just some mortal will not be enough to provoke him out of him this. I think she's going to proceed to. Would she be able to try to arrange to some neonate to fulfill the role of bait?
I would like you to roll your manipulation plus status.
My only status is within the event through.
Your own personal status.
I do not have.
You don't have
personal
any? Okay, so just your raw manipulation. And we'll see if you have any favors to call in. One success. You don't have any favors, but there's a very young neonate, Lasombra, who is willing to do this for you in return for tutoring on the road of the. In return for tutoring as a abyssal mysticism and what it means to be a Lasombra. So a little bit of mentorship.
She agrees to the deal.
Okay. The benefits of being as old as you guys are, you can trade knowledge. All right. He essentially agrees that he will make a little trouble, and then he's going to take off because he doesn't actually want to get involved, but he will provoke a response for you. Okay. Let's see how well he does. He does a pretty goddamn good job. Holy shit. Alright. So here's what happens. You go down to the Appian Way. You're hanging out near the gate. It's extremely busy. Travelers coming in and out. Bringing carts in through the gate. There are no tax collectors because the citizens are immune to taxes, but there are a number of citizen soldiers, militiamen of type, watching the gates. And the Lasombra goes and provokes a couple of them into following him. And he ducks down a couple of little alcoves and alleys and stuff, and he drops a nocturne on them and essentially tries to make a little bit of a ruckus. And if Telecles has been watching, which he most assuredly has, then he would have seen this. So now you get to roll your perception plus awareness, because you're trying to track a Nosferatu. So it's going to be tough.
Can I use a willpower on this?
Yes, you can. You're going up against his dex and stealth.
One success.
Yeah, let's do that. All right. He smells a trap. You don't know this, but he smells a trap. And he looks around, and he sees you at a distance that would be a good ambush spot if he were to respond to that. And Albina, the first you become aware of this is when a rubbery, white, clawed, with long black nails hand reaches from behind you and grabs your neck and just pulls you back against him, and it feels irresistible. It feels like trying to struggle against a mountain. And there's fangs right at your neck, and it says, "Easy, sweetie. Easy, sweetie, easy. Don't try to run.
Why would I try to run from the one that I have been looking for?
He goes, uh, looking for me? I'm flattered, but, your charms are wasted. Go bother someone else.
What I am looking for specifically is a practitioner of the Road of the Beast. I hear you are one of those, yes? The battle in Carthage has snapped you out of your humanity.
He goes, I know who you are. You have no interest in Road of the Beast. You, one of those Lasombra shadow magisters.
Did you know that the Road of the Beast is one of the original roads? That many of the other roads splinter off from it?
More importantly, do I care?
No, I do not think you do, but I do care, and that is why I'm interested in the Road of the Beast. Therefore, interested in you.
He says, alright, I'll give you a little test. And he leads you outside the city gates. Nobody bothers you. He has clearly covered you with obfuscate. And he walks you to a clearing or a spot on the edge of the farmlands. And he just says, run. Run and come back in the morning.
She proceeds to nod as she looks over to the horizon, to, I imagine, away from the city. Proceeds to start running.
What does that command mean to you? What does that command mean to Albina? To run.
To get away. To escape. She's going to seek to get out of his sight, out of his presence. But she's also not going to go deep into the woods.
Okay. So you just run. Like marathon runner. Just down the road, through the woods a little bit, up the farmland, across a couple of creeks. Make your way back near dawn. And he drops out of a shadow and looks at you, and he just shakes his head. Says, clearly you did not run. Do not feed. Come back tomorrow. Run.
She looks confused. What do you mean? Run where? Do you have a goal for me?
Do not plan. Do not think. Just run.
I see. Understood. She's going to follow his instructions once again. This time, she's going to be keeping in mind his command to not think, to just run. She's just going to keep running until she feels the need to stop, until she feels instinctually that she's too far away from the city to come back, until she feels instinctually that she's treading into dangerous territory.
You use the right word, instinctually. You just run. You stop thinking. And your beast begins to rise. But it doesn't feel dangerous. It feels joyous that you are allowing it to slip. And you jump into trees and you're swinging through them like Tarzan and jumping directly across irrigation streams and running across walls and just being an animal, spending blood to do it. You spend 2/3 of your blood pool with the beast just enjoying itself, just being there in the night, being a predator, just running. And you come back to him clearly hungry. How do you feel? You come back to him, you're exhausted. You haven't been tired as a vampire, but you feel tired and hungry. And clawing, the beast is hungry now. It wants to feed. And you come up to Telecles, and he looks much more pleased just at your approach.
I imagine she looks to be very much disheveled. Bits of the forest sticking to her. Her clothing torn in some places. Her fangs out as she has a clear look of hunger on her face. I ran. But there's not like ever any of the running that I ever did before. It was different. I did not think, only feel. Feel the stone and dirt, the trees, and the water.
Yeah, he nods. He says, "We do not exist to satisfy the dictates of man. We are predators. We enjoy the night. Do not feed. Come back in the morning. Come back in the evening. We talk again."
She she grits her teeth at the command to not feed. She's annoyed at this. She feels the pangs of hunger in her. But she nods. I'll come back.
You rise, and you're very hungry. And it's driving you, it's like an itch you can't scratch. And there's willing people right above you who will gladly offer you their arm or their neck. But you must master this. So roll your self-control at difficulty 7. You refrain from releasing the monster within you to feed.
She distracts herself from the urges of hunger by focusing herself instead on the urge for knowledge, for pleasing her mentor, the urge to advance on her path.
You return once more to the gates. And Telecles takes you under his arm and walks you out into the wilderness, the tamed wilderness such as it is, and brings you to a encampment where there are a family camped near a campfire, and there's 4 or 5 armed people with knives, blades. They look to be some sort of protection outfit protecting them from would-be robbers. And he says, The beast requires us to be the creatures that we are. We are required to be more than animal, but we must be in control of the animal. To know when to unleash it, when to collar it, and to do so at our own command. And he points at them and he says, kill and feed.
She looks to be deeply satisfied upon hearing the command. She immediately, at this point, out of without even really giving much thought, so familiar that she has grown to using her powers, she proceeds to drop a nocturne around the guards to blind them before she moves into for the kill.
Okay? Roll your self-control. You are once again struggling to. You have an innate. I'm going to be a little crude here. It's like if I told you to pee your pants, right? You'd be like, I can't do that. You know, society's always told me I can't do that. I can't sit in my computer chair and do that. That's horrible. It's disgusting. To unleash your beast like that is the same feeling. I can't just do that. But there's no way, even with a nocturne, there's no way that you're going to be successful here unless you unleash your inner animal. So roll your self-control. Difficulty of 8. He wants to see you unleash. And you can't. You can't quite let it go. You run up to them. They are staggering out of the nocturne. So there's 3 guys armed with blades and with swords. There's a dad with a knife and a mom and 2 teenage boys. The mom and 2 teenage boys are scattering one. The 5 men come out. Very distracted, frightened. They come out and they see you barreling towards them just in time to meet your charge. You're going to go first.
She's going to proceed to use the nightshade to try to create illusions of people going uh, after the mother and the children. Try to get them distracted from her. Try to
Okay.
get them to split up.
Okay? Obtenebration, Nightshades. What's the cult? Diff 7. All right. 4 shadowy figures of yourself split off and essentially make a circle around the nocturne. The men don't know where to look. They're like, hey, what the fuck? Did you see that? Oh my god! And they're like waving. They don't know where to look, where to focus, and you just blow past them. Just poof! Blow straight through them into the nocturne. And you see the 3 figures sort of staggering out the back. Their back is to you.
She's going to proceed to try to.
Go ahead. Keep going.
She's going to proceed to try to grab the woman, the one that seems to have the most blood within her, and drag her into the nocturne.
You do. She can't stop you. Your action is you barrel, boom, grab. The 2 teenagers are like, no, mom, no. And they grab their knives. They're like, let go of her. And they start trying to stab you. And at the same time, all 4 of the guys that were out front realize at the same moment that they're chasing shadows and turn and go running around in a semicircle to the where the cries are coming from. So they're going to roll on together. This is a group roll for those 2 guys. All right, you're going to soak the 4 lethal from the two of them trying to stab you over and over and over. Let her go, clawing at your arm, like just like trying to jab your arms, your head, your shoulders, wherever they can reach with their little belt knives. And so you do take some damage, and the other guys come running around, and they are going to try to dogpile you.
The specialty I imagine would also.
Do you have tough as nails? Something like
Yes.
that? Yeah, it works. That does apply. Yeah, so they come running around and they're trying to like dogpile you. Your only chance to win here is to if you run, you're gonna run in failure. You have to unleash your beast to do it. You have to give in. So, and this is a tough lesson to learn. You either frenzy now and control, make an attack, or it frenzies and runs.
I'm going to try to frenzy now to make the attack.
Okay? So this is going to be odd. I'm going to make you spend a willpower point to fail your self-control roll at difficulty 8. So spend a willpower point, roll self-control. This is going to give you a -1 success. Nice. You do finally grasp that he purposely set you to a place low on blood and not able to strategize properly. That you have to rely on your beast. And you go into killer preservation mode. You don't know how long this lasts. It can't have been long. But you wake up. The nocturne is gone. You see the shadows shrinking back into normal. So obviously your beast had been controlling them somehow. Done something. You see them waver and shrink back into the normal places. And there are ripped throats and torn chests. You are covered in wounds. Your clothes are torn up. But your body is healed and you feel content, full. It's been a hard day's labor and you just had a great meal and a perfect drink, and now you just need to relax and chill out.
She lays down on the ground, letting herself enjoy the afterglow of the feeding. Before she lazily gets up and starts making her way back to the spot where technically us.
We're going to let that scene rest there, and let's go to Astartes. Astartes, you have awoken in the space where your sister had previously rested. After meditating and punishing yourself, staying awake for several hours during the day, you feel very tired, cranky, of course, but you've gained some insight into the trials that she endured, the physical trials. Yours had been mostly mental, but just being somewhat close to her and knowing the pain of her literally breaking her skin and using her nails to inscribe these prayers on plaster walls. It's given you, I won't say closure, but it's given you a tiny bit of perspective.
First, I would like to search around the room, see if she had any jewelry or something that I can use to remember her by. Just something small.
She had no jewelry, but she did have her several pairs of knives that she obviously took great care of and cared for very, very much. These were not her daily use knives. We'll put it like that.
How many are there?
So she's got 4 or 5 sets, but she has two that were obviously made with great care. They used to have jewels in them, but the jewels were pried out a long time ago. The handles look like they were sloppily wrapped, but the blade itself is immaculate. No rust, no pitting, no chips or scratches. The handles definitely showed signs of use, that she used these. And you remember hearing a little bit of a story from her that she had taken these off of somebody when she was still immortal, and she was allowed to hold on to them.
So we'll take one of the knives, and I will call Ardashir to come to me, my cool. And the other knife, I want to use blood tampering on it to preserve it.
Okay? Take that to your office and you put it on a block. You make a mental note to get a little pedestal made for it, like a display case.
So it's going to be one blood point, and down just and crap.
All right. And of course, Barrack Ball comes at your summoning.
Not Barbel, Ardashir, the other one.
Ardashir. Yes,
Yeah.
I apologize. Yes, he does come at your summoning.
I hand him the other knife and tell him he has to travel back to my hometown and bury this knife in an urn next to my parents to give my sister a proper burial.
He bows. Of course, master, as you say.
And I'm gonna do the roll right now. So it's gonna be preserved for a week right now, up to a week.
Right. And I think it does say when it ends. So I think the power says that. Well, it doesn't, but I assume that you're going to do this several times until you are assured that it's never going to stop.
Correct.
Right.
And then I'm gonna break a little bit of the plaster off the wall if I can.
Yeah, you can actually have people come in and cut the whole wall out if you want to.
No, I just want a little piece because I wanna enchant it with one of my rituals as a protection.
Okay.
I want to take a piece where there's blood of her on it.
All right.
I don't know. Can I fashion it in any way into a necklace or something like that?
Into a what?
Necklace.
A necklace.
Um,
You can get a brass ball made,
yeah, something like that.
and yeah, they can you put it in a brass ball, and then they'll heat it closed and tap it closed so it never comes open.
Okay, then I'm gonna order for something like that. I'm gonna hold on the ritual for now. Then
Okay.
till
Yeah.
after. Well,
Yeah. So you have one of the men go order that from a jewelry maker.
and then I'm gonna hunt because I'm low on blood actually.
Okay. You are plying upon your boyish good looks. Very, very good looks. So you head out into the teeming streets of Rome. On whom do you wish to prey? Do you wish to prey on the lower class men and women who are just scratching a living, or do you prefer a more upper class approach?
I think I'm gonna take the upper class approach for now.
Okay. I think that's Diff 6. I can't remember if it's Diff 6 or Diff 8, and I don't have my notes open right in front of me to tell you. So let's go with Diff 6.
Then it's gonna be div 4 for me because of my merit.
Yep.
Appearance and subterfuge, right?
Yes. Right. You nail it. you head into a bar that's just teeming with people. It's all packed in. There's apparently some sort of entertainer there tonight playing, and that's why it's completely packed. And you see a couple of even richer people with their bodyguards that are at the place gambling. So yeah, it's pretty well. You've picked a pretty good spot, and you get a whole bunch of interested looks, I should say. You pretty much have your pick of people that you want. If you want to spend more than one person, you can. If you want to eat all off of one, you can.
I wanna go with more than one person because I'm actually almost at halfway point of blood right
All
now.
right.
So when
So yeah, you take an hour and a half. You wander the crowd. You take a little bit here and a little bit there. Um, you know, so you get, let's say, you take 12 off of the crowd with no problems.
okay, that brings me up to full then. I'm okay. So after that, I think I'm gonna stop by the call tape and see if there's anybody there.
Okay. Well, this brings us naturally to Labiena. What's Labiena up to?
Um, excuse me. I'd imagine she'd be trying to um see about trying to contact. I've already forgotten the name of that Nosferatu.
Redolinius is his name.
Bertolinius. Yeah. At least contacting them regarding, you know, how he or potentially other members of the clan or anyone else in the city might be able to help
Okay.
her and felt
All right.
easier.
I'd like you to roll your intelligence plus occult.
Okay.
It's a standard diff 6.
Okay. One sec. Okay. Left it. Intelligence or occult. There it is.
All right. Redolinius does sometimes show up at the bathhouse. And he is, of course, a member of the Eternal Senate. And so if you go to where the Eternal Senate is meeting, you will be able to waylay him there as well. So otherwise, you're basically going to have to descend into the sewers and streets of Rome and just like look for him. So a visit to the bathhouse seems maybe the most appropriate way to do it.
Yeah, so she'll probably just make arrangements to do that.
Okay. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop our session here. I need to write that encounter, and where'd my pen go? Encounters for next session. Yeah, Redolinius and Alvina, Road of the Beast. I just read that a couple weeks ago, and I need to reread it so I can intelligently talk about what he's trying to do. All right, 2 experience points for everybody tonight. Very great role playing. So appreciate you guys playing with me tonight, and I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Good night.
All right.
Yes,
Good.
cheers for the great game.
Yep. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, guys. Thanks for joining us. It's a 103rd session. It's a little shorter tonight. I'm missing a couple of people. So the guy who played Decius has decided to move along. He's a good dude. We wish him luck. I'm sure he'll be fine. He's going to dip his hand into storytelling. So, there you go. One more storyteller in the world is a good thing. Okay. Once again, everybody, thank you. Have a great evening.